Welcome everybody to the Watchlist here on the Latin Nerds Network, the show where we review all the shows that get released on streaming and set you up with what's coming out the following week so you can create your very own watch list. You want the best recommendations, want to know what to watch, check us out here every Sunday. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check us out Sundays again midday. Let me introduce my co-host who will help us navigate the rough seas of streaming as usual. And that's live from Houston, Big Bro himself. It's Senor Jaime, aka Chewy. What up?
Hey, brother, what's going on, man?
You ready to do this? Very
Uh,
very mixed
Very
week.
mixed week, but
Yeah.
not only that, but at some point we're gonna have to talk about something I just don't get. I just read an article today about that show that we both said was a non-watch. Our flag means death. That
That got
pseudo
renewed?
comedy
Right.
on HBO Max. I use that term loosely, and I don't get it. But all of a sudden, like this show's like getting like hitting streaming numbers that are better than Moon Knight, and I'm like, did I,
Really?
yes, yes, and I'm like, what am I missing here? I know Moon Knight's good, but that comedy was not a comedy. Was mediocre at best.
Yeah, I stopped watching it as I was so
Yeah,
disinterested in it, to be honest with you.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I don't
I
get
agree.
that.
I don't get it. What am I missing?
I don't
Someone tell
listen.
me. What am I missing?
I don't know. Maybe the name might have carried that show. I don't know. It's I haven't seen the article, so I don't know the exact numbers or whatever the case is. But yeah, Our Flag is Our Father, HBO.
Our flag means death.
Our Flag
Uh,
Means Death. Flags Are Our Father. Think of another movie.
yeah,
Flag Means
yeah.
Death. Some pirate show comedy by the mind of Taika Waititi. At least he's directing anyway. It's not he didn't write it.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, we both did not. It's
I,
not a funny
yeah.
show, man. It was terrible. I must well, I only go as far as say it's terrible, but it was not good. Whatever, dude. Listen, everything's subjective, right? It is what it is.
I
Whatever, it
guess.
happens. A lot of
I
shows we like
guess.
get canceled. Some shows we don't like continue on
Yeah.
for whatever reason. To each their own, as they say. Beauty in the eye of the beholder. Sure enough. That being said, I have another puzzling situation. We're gonna go. We're gonna before we get to the new stuff. Before we get to new stuff, we're gonna talk about the series finale. Um, Killing Eve, a show we've enjoyed the last I guess
uh,
4 seasons, and it finally came to an end. Last episode,
Never
I
gonna
guess
watch
they
the show ever again. I'll tell
yeah
you
they
that
said
right
that
now.
yeah I'm done with the show because the show is done. They made that decision very easy. Yeah, so listen, you always talk about us guys stick the landing, right? That's what it's about for the most part. It doesn't always at least end okay. It doesn't have to be the greatest thing ever. Just end
Mhm.
okay. And I'll say this: this was a Game of Thrones esque ending to the series for me. Maybe not quite to that extreme, but definitely.
Well, when you say Game of Thrones, Andy,
I mean, just in terms of disappointment. I mean, yeah, look, Game of Thrones is a different level and it was better on Killing Eve as
yeah,
well. I get
yeah.
it, but
I don't want to throw this whole Game of Thrones comparison because it's not a
no,
worthy comparison.
I'm just saying in terms of disappointment. I guess the fact that really didn't stick a landing to an otherwise really great show, right?
I think this whole season was not. This whole season was just not sticking the landing. It's just
Right, which it's like Game of Thrones. I
yeah.
think Game of Thrones have moments, but it's the same. And in the same vein, not saying the exact same thing, just using an analogy, right? But that being said, a season which it was mixed up and down. But the ending itself, and we'll probably get a little spoilers here if you guys haven't seen it. Fast forward for a few minutes, but for me, it didn't work. I mean, I liked the ideas of what they were presenting. It was just executed poorly, man. It's examples that the thing with Constantine. There was no payoff to that, right? They killed him off, which
I
which I'm fine with, but it didn't lead to anything. I'm like, well, what was the point of killing him? There was nothing behind it there. Even when the other people find out, okay, he's dead. Let's move on. What was the point
Yeah,
of doing it?
yeah.
I don't get it.
It was beyond it. It was the introduction. It was this new killer, which was just came out of. What was the point?
That
This is the last
exactly
season, and he's like,
right.
all of a sudden, there's another killer that's part of the 12. It's not part of the 12.
Yeah, and
Why?
I mean, if when uh, Villeneuve would have discovered when she heard that he died at that point, I thought maybe he's gonna kill her or something. It kind of gave us something there, right? She's
Hmm.
avenging because she cared about him, right? That's the whole point of the show. They even had a big hug when they met up finally, the last couple episodes. He heard about it, like, okay, well, let's move on. Fine. Carolyn, who got a lot of screen time, she's all over the place. I don't know what the hell she's doing. They don't quite clarify her motives. I don't. She's doing something once. She's going after the 12. Now she's not going after the 12. And it's this guy that she's seeing. It's just weird. I don't know where she's at. They don't really make that clear.
Mm.
And I like the fact that Eve and they'll finally get together, which we knew was gonna happen, bound to happen. Fine, I'm fine with that. We knew one was gonna. I knew one was gonna die. Not surprising. I don't care that one of them died. In this case, but no, I don't mind that. Just the execution of it was like abrupt. No real time to kind of reflect on it. It ends in a black screen when he's screaming in the ocean, whatever, and then not the ocean, in the river. When it went after the 12, it just felt so insignificant. She killed him off in 2 seconds. Okay, well, what was the point of the whole 12? And why make such a big thing about it?
Yeah,
Kill Villeneuve to begin with. It's just nothing. It just didn't work. And I said I like the idea of her dying, and getting together, find all that. They could have really extended that and given her something more. It's just nothing there. It's not really to when you kill off a character like that, give us a chance to kind of either and do it well, or give us a chance to kind of reflect on it more, like the characters, in this case, reflect on it. It's just they give us nothing. It's disappointing. It really was. It was just. It wasn't that happy when I saw it. I'm like, this is nonsense. You know what I'm saying? What a shame. It's a shame.
No, it's a shame because this whole season, it seemed to be kind of slapped together, rushed. I don't know, man. I have no comment.
For those who are getting into it, by before what's going to happen, lower the expectations. It's if you have seen it, you agree with us. It's just I know a lot of fans and I read some stuff. There's a lot of, I don't say outrage is the right word, but push back how it ended, and you get that all the time with any finale, right? There's always going to be people who didn't like it, whatever. But this was poor writing. What a shame. And this is what happens. You get 4 different showrunners every year.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and when the first season, which is fantastic, with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, is that her name?
Yes.
Yeah, she's great with things like Fleabag, and she's written a lot of other stuff. She left the first season. Since then, it's kind of been like a steady decline in quality, right? And resonating in a way.
And the storytelling, because the story just didn't end where it seemed to make sense, or maybe they did too many jumps and trying to advance too far without laying out the groundwork to properly explain what was going on.
Yeah, it didn't know when to. They could have left the 12 alone for like her. That was it. It just
pretty much.
We even see the faces. Who are they? It didn't work. It's a shame. Yeah, this for me killed the whole entire series as far as I'm concerned. It really does. Yeah, at least with Game of Thrones, it had some stellar stuff consistent for 4 or 5 years, right? Great stuff, and the last season didn't kill the show in entirety, but you know what I'm saying. This one I thought really killed the show. It's really bad. So, but I want to stick with that theme for a second. When speaking of bad here, and this is one I know you didn't see. I caught this last minute. I forgot this was coming out. Actually, I had it on the radar because I'm a horror fan. Choose or Die. It was a movie that came out with Asia Butterfield. Of course, we see him in Sex Education, a show you both really like on Netflix.
I choose to pass.
And I choose to die. That's how I felt about this movie here. With the cool premise, the premise is cool, right? Because it's video game-esque, premise where I guess they discovered this 80s style kind of video game. One of those kind of like you make decisions, like should you enter this door or that door? You type in what you want to do, and it progresses based on what your decisions. But I guess this game is called Cursed, so the game is cursed, very creative. Where I guess there's it imitates real life, and it kind of, so for example, that guy at the beginning shot, the guy's just looking at Peter, and then he's drinking a beer, and the question is, do you want another beer? And he's like, wait, what? And he gets yes, and a beer appears in front of him, right? Or his wife and daughter, his wife and his son, arguments. So he's like, and it asks her tongue or his tongue or her ears or something like that. He makes it the choice, and all of a sudden his mom cuts his tongue off or whatever. It's just stuff like that. I guess like the decisions you make, you choose or you die. So you're forced to make a choice. Whatever. It could be an interesting premise, but with the horror film, like I always said, can we get some horror in here? That's what I'm asking for. Lacking, nonsensical, ridiculous. It was really bad. What a shame, because as a gamer, I was like, oh, this would be pretty cool. I like the idea. The premise sounds interesting enough. Disaster. Avoid it at all costs. I'd rather go watch Killing Eve again. The last episodes. It was just not good. Unrecommend. Take it off your watch list. It's not good. Aim for horror films, which generally aren't great. You gotta be scary. That's the least. That's the Mendoza line. Just be scary and I'm good. Nope, not that. Nonsense. So choose to die. No doubt about it. There, let's wash off that.
Okay. Cleanse the palate.
We'll cleanse. Want to get to some good stuff, but there is some weird shit going on here. But we'll get to that in a second. But 61st Street is one I got released on AMC. It's an AMC on Sundays. It dropped. Well, ANC Plus, it dropped 2 episodes. One, if you don't have ANC Plus, we get the benefit of watching 2, whatever the case is. So I think ANC Plus always gives you a week in advance for the most part.
From what I've seen, yes. Yeah. So there should be another episode today.
Outside the premiere. The premiere usually it's the same day, if I'm not mistaken. But 61st Street, you got a story, it takes place in Chicago, about a youngster who inadvertently kills a police officer while he's escaping, would be in arrest with some drug dealers and all that, and he's in hiding, and the cops are full force after the kid, and I guess there's an attorney who's a real social advocate, of course, who takes on the case, and there you go, right? There's only been a couple episodes that hasn't gone further than that. Sure, what are your thoughts on this one?
I'm enjoying it. I think I'm a big fan of Courtney B. Vance. He was, who he is. He was in OJ versus the People at the FX show, which was great on the OJ trial. Yeah. So he was Johnny Cochran. He's been in, is it The Hunt for Red October? Yes, with Alec Baldwin. He was the audio guy. Yeah. So he's been around forever on lots of things, and done cameos in various TV shows and whatnot. So, it's only been 2 episodes. I'm trying to see where this is going, but so far so good. Obviously, we got a corrupt police department unit, right? This kid's caught at the wrong place at the wrong time, literally. An accident happens, and he's on the run, right? And so now we get into, after these first 2 episodes, I guess now we get into the whole actual courtroom drama and law piece of it, right? The first 2 episodes has been basically the manhunt up to now.
Exactly, and we got these cops who are... I'm not gonna say they're racist, but there's definitely a social injustice undertone to the show, right?
I think that could be said of most inner city police departments, but I think that the focus here is not on the racial, but the corruption aspect of it, right? Because they are in, and I think it's pretty clear they're in. Hold on, sorry, stupid dog. Go.
Love them dogs.
I think it's very clear that they are in bed with one of the rival gangs, getting payouts under the table, allowing some things to happen as they pursue their opponent. So obviously it's very nefarious, but there's definitely an element of how they treat the people there, right? It's more of a police state than a police unit.
Right. It's not. It's not subtle because it does touch on that subject, right? There's social inequalities and the effects on the justice system to some degree. I get that.
Well, I think in the very opening scene, right, where the Vance character is in front of a judge, right, trying to get some leniency for his client, and the judge is not. Yeah, he basically, or
formula.
I understand. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, right? But it wasn't like he mowed down 30 people in a public street, right? He got his kid, Randy Raven, needed food, right? And basically the judge puts him in jail for 2 years, essentially. So and he makes a point saying you not only put him away, you put this child, essentially away because he's got no father for the first 2 years because he tried to get his some damn food for feed him. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so, so right off the bat, you see, the I guess the blinders that happen in justice system where there's no, justice is blind, but maybe sometimes it really shouldn't be.
Right. And this is what the only issue with the show, right? Because I think we have an idea where the show is going for the most part, right? And what it's going to focus on as I assume the court becomes more of a court drama, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really would have worked better if this kid was innocent, right? But this is my issue with the show where he actually did. He didn't do it inadvertent, but he did kill the officer.
He was running. He was in the wrong place, wrong time. He's running.
Sure.
Because he was innocent. He was not a drug dealer.
He was, of course.
He was there trying to get his brother out of trouble, right? His brother crossed the wrong side of the street, and they get guns pulled on him. And obviously he is a famous in the neighborhood because he's gone to college. He's got a scholarship. He's obviously a great athlete, a track star.
Track athlete, yeah.
Yes. And so he just kind of went in there because they would know who he is. And so, in that setting, you don't mess with the golden goose, right? You leave people harm the gang, you leave them alone, right? They're not causing any trouble. His brother was in the wrong place, wrong time. but and obviously this was accidental because obviously the police were pursuing him because, and even they make a point in the news releases, right, where they try to get the worst picture of him and to show him as a monster, right? Oh,
Right.
it's just another gangbanger, right? It's
Sure.
another drug dealer, right? Who cares? Whatever, right? Just gun him down and let God sort him out, type of attitude. So it was truly accidental. But
It was, but it
there's a
happened,
lot
right?
more there's a
So
lot more pieces because the cop who was killed was actually trying to had a wire because he was trying to capture he suspected
his
that his
superiors were
unit
they
was
were on the take.
crooked.
Right.
Yes,
Exactly.
that
Yes.
they were dirty.
And he was
And so there's a lot of
they
elements
portrayed the
going on.
cop as he has a family, really good cop,
Yes.
and that's just where it goes back
But
to.
but and the victim in this, the one drug that they killed was, maybe because he gave him the name. It's like, who was your source and said that this is going on, and he gave him the name, right? I don't know if he did it on purpose or he's trying to figure out, but he's wearing a wire there because as soon as they get there, that's the first guy they kill, right?
Right.
And so it wasn't subtle why they were there to begin with, right? There was nothing, you know what's going on, and this is going to happen. And once he released the name, he was like, oh shit, here we go, right? But so no, he's not 100% in it. He wasn't.
It
He was
happened,
innocent to
right?
be there, but
Right,
the
but
accidents happened as a result of those actions.
of
You know.
course, which I get, right? But if you're gonna play, if we're gonna play the race card, right? The
Yeah,
cops.
but I mean, I think it's nuanced because
I don't know
it was.
because from the cop's perspective, right? Listen, you kill a cop, it's all hell breaks
I mean,
loose.
it was like I think they laid it out in the opening scene where the guy was not. He stole, got some baby food. Okay, he was guilty, but what is the proper justice, right? What is justice at the end of the day,
Sure.
especially when dealing with how you treat one race versus another? Who gets leniency and who does not, right?
Which
Who
is
has answers?
which is why I'm curious where they're gonna go, right? Because
Yes,
this
yes,
is this
exactly.
perspective I'm looking at, right? If you're the cops, you see black guy runs away and a cop is there with a spike, whatever, like whatever it was, construction
Yeah, there was
poles,
some sort of nail or
right?
something.
Whatever,
It was on the ground, and yeah,
right to the back,
rebar. It was some rebar. It was a rebar that was sticking out of the
right,
ground.
right to the back
He
of
fell, and
yeah.
yes.
So if you're looking at it, you don't know what's going on. You're like, oh shit, this guy killed him. So they don't know what's going on. So they have every right to pursue him, right? He is guilty. He did kill the guy. His actions led to his death. So this will play better if he was innocent, as a case of mistaken identity. I understand the black guy got fingered for the wrong crime. He did commit the crime. So it undersells what you're trying to push in the show. And we'll see where it goes. Fine, but you're saying, oh, poor guy, he didn't mean to do. The cops don't know that. They know a cop is a dead body. There's video of him at the scene.
Well,
Right, but for all they know, he could have punched him, knocked him down, beat him up.
true
Right,
or not true?
right.
Well, I mean, there's
But
obviously
I'm saying
some
that.
video. There is some video evidence, and we don't know what we know they've seen something because they took
Sure.
the guy's picture from the video,
Right.
right? Because his partner came up, and so they had cam footage of right before it happened.
Right.
So they know how it happened, what went down. So
Potentially,
don't say that.
Well,
Don't say
I
they don't know.
I get it, but he's dead. It's not like it was. It's like,
yes. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? It's like if there's no right. It's not like I thought my show was gonna be. Oh, he did it. It's a case of who I didn't do it. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But let's undercut that because they're not going after him because he's black. Right, they're going after him because he's at the scene.
He was there,
right? So it's not like, well, everybody, all blacks look alike. It's not. That's not a case where we're
but
talking about.
But
yes,
going back one step further, the whole reason we're after to begin with because he was rival gang.
Sure,
the gang
he got mixed in the group.
Yes,
understood.
He got lumped in.
Right, I
get because he was
get
there.
all that. Right, but I'm just saying that's for the aspect of the murder. That's to me that's manslaughter. It is what it is, right?
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Right, and I think that's what I'm curious where the show goes with that because I think it really undercut what I thought was trying to sell initially. But again, it's only 2 episodes. That narrative may change. Right?
There may be a point. Right,
right, and that's what that's what I'm hoping for, that it sticks down. That's my only concern right now. But it's a well done show. It's good. It doesn't break the mold. We've seen this kind of stuff 100 times, and that's fine. It does it well. So I'm recommending it. It's nothing fantastic, but it's a good show, hard hitting show which is relevant to today's times, right? Let's be honest. So it was still enjoyable. It is still enjoyable. I'm gonna keep watching it, but I'm gonna keep an eye on how it handles that part of it. That's all I'm saying. Another one, Netflix, Anatomy of a Scandal. We have a Netflix drama about this. It takes place in London. We got not a minister, whatever they call him. I guess he's He's a political figure. I'm not sure how that.
Yeah, so in the ministry, prime
Ministry,
minister,
right? The ministry,
assisting something,
whatever. He's a
something political. Right? It's a
right,
political drama.
exactly. And I guess he had little infidelity issues, which got out. So now he's dealing with a scandal, and which that led to further alleged accusations in relation to this infidelity case, and things have escalated, and it's kind of a little court drama mixed up. What he's trying to deal with, everything in his life unraveling as a result. Public figure that happens, shit's gonna go down, right? Um, it's okay, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's only 6 episodes, I believe. So it's one of these short, limited
Yeah,
series.
sure. Yeah, it's very bad in numbers. It's exactly what you expect out of a show like this. Again, doesn't break the mold, nothing special. We talked about last week. I'm looking for things that are a little bit different, like with Severance, for example. Give us something more. There's room for these shows, and it's fine. It's for me. It's I think saying 2 episodes,
Filler.
2.5, 3 episodes.
Yeah,
At best
I've seen
filler,
3.
right? At best
Yeah,
filler.
filler.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just there's a lot to watch, so I'm not gonna recommend it just because it's too many other shows to watch. If you're fully caught up with everything, sure, I guess. But for me, I don't know. What do you think, Joey?
No, I agree. I mean, it's straight filler. Not bad, not good, but not bad. No, nothing, earth-shattering twist. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, that's I think that's all we need to say about it.
Yeah, like I said, it's just one of those shows. It's very vanilla, right? It's not a bad thing. Just give me a little chocolate in there, a little hot fudge, and then make it more exciting. This show does. There's a lot more style over substance thus far. So, but it's fine. Like I said, not a terrible show. I'm just
I
again.
mean, I think we need to start calling this a Ron Howard.
I mean, yeah, this is a Ron Howard. This might as well be a Ron Howard production, right? Just
Yeah.
9 numbers, whatever. Okay, it's not terrible. It's not gonna light anyone's socks on fire. So it is what it is. If you like this kind of courtroom stuff, this will be for you. Otherwise, I avoid it. Apple Plus, which has been on a tremendous roll for me anyway. Roar, this new anthology series focusing on 8 stories centered around women, different aspects of being a woman, what to deal with, and it kind of presents in a lot of strange scenarios, right? To get his point across, uses metaphors for what they're really speaking up against. I've seen 4 of them thus far. I heard the last one's the best.
I've seen 2.
Now, like if any anthology, there's gonna be some shit. There's gonna be some great stuff, and there's gonna be just some solid. This one, I honestly don't know what to think about this. To be honest with you, this for me breaks the streak for Apple.
Yes.
And I'll give you an example.
It was bound to happen.
It was bound to happen.
All good things must come to an end.
Right,
So.
and I'll give you an example. There's one episode I'm trying to picture now where there's a woman. I don't think this one you haven't seen yet, too, if you've only seen 2. Where I forgot she's from Glow. She was one of the wrestlers on Glow.
Yes, that's the next episode 3.
Right. So she has a young girl. She's basically one of those what do they call them? Those moms that put them out. A pageant mom. What do they call them? Whatever. So just a young girl's being a pageant. She's growing up with beauty. That's the thing. And she gets older. She's a model. Meets some guy, rich guy, and they fall in love, and he marries her. And then like soon up when she moves into the house, huge mansion, he builds like a ledge in his office, and wants to put her on display so he can always look up to her and inspire him as he's working and all that. So she literally agrees to get on this pedestal, and is there the whole time for years. So it's unusual, right? It's not a metaphor for she's being a trophy wife. It's not very subtle, but that's what it become parties, and she stands there. He'll feed her, she'll change. She's just there looking pretty and whatever. She eventually gets tired of it and goes on her own, right? And at the end of the thing, it's about, I guess she's trying to empower herself. She's free now. She can do what she wants. And what does she end up doing? Opening a store of makeup and putting herself on the pedestal again.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the point? How's that empowering? You're just doing exactly what you did before, and it says there, oh, look at me or something on like this little neon sign she puts up there. It just doesn't make quite think. It just doesn't hit. It's weird. I know there's someone who's going out with a duck. I haven't seen that one yet. Bizarre. The 2 that you've seen that we can talk about. One dealt with racism. Woman who's
the first
author,
one,
right? The first is an author, and then I guess that she believes turning her book into a movie, so she goes to Hollywood and whatever, and then she finds out that they're not really making a movie about a story, but a book, which I think is just almost like an autobiography. I guess I don't know.
Yes.
They're making a virtual reality, whatever situation, and eventually she starts disappearing to some degree as the show progresses. I guess the white people aren't able to see her or hear her anymore. Interesting concept. I like the idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I get what they're trying to do, but it ends so abruptly, and they don't really follow through on it. Like, okay, so where does this end up? Right? It needed more. Second episode when they kill Kimmin was always great.
I hated it. I couldn't finish
Terrible,
it. I skipped.
Right?
Yeah, terrible,
that was one where. I'll give you an example where it's just Well, at least what they deal with this disappearing made sense, right? Oh, this good metaphor for, racism not being seen. Might also be the same thing, right? She's being ignored. I get that. That makes sense. Now, I like that. I wish it was more filled out. The second one is she, I guess, it can eat pictures, okay? And when she eats pictures, photograph, the memory, whatever picture is, she kind of lives in her mind, right? It becomes fresh in her mind. And she's dealing with the mom having, Alzheimer's or dementia, whatever the case is, and their son's getting older, leaving the house. So she's kind of like, she feels like, oh my God, I'm losing my mom. No longer going to be a daughter. I'm losing my son. I'm no longer going to be a mother. And she's eating these photographs to kind of relive these memories or try to hold on to this nostalgia part of it. But at the end of the day, even the pictures does nothing. She could have just looked at the picture and got her in mind, and that's it. You could have taken the whole element off, and the episode would have been exactly the same. Nothing would have changed. What's the point? At least with the disappearing one, that made sense, right?
Yes.
It affected the story. This one, she didn't eat any photo. She looked at it and just thought back. Oh, eating ice cream. Oh, great. Some pictures of her mom, and okay, fine. And they could have dealt with this, a woman dealing with the issues of having a parent who's losing her mind, right? And she's getting lost in that because that's the only family she has left in terms of her parents. So that would have been better explored. So it's a lot of stuff like that. And the fourth one's same kind of deal. So it didn't work, man. It doesn't work. It's odd, dude. It's too odd for its own good. It really is. And it seems like you agree with that, with what you've seen.
No, I do. And unfortunately, they couldn't put out A+8 one after another, right? At some point, there's going to be a miss. You're going to swing and a miss. And this is a miss, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a miss. I don't think I'm going to.
But that's okay, because there's plenty of other new shows coming out in the next few weeks that I'm looking forward to. Some docuseries, some other series that I'm sure going to be hits again. So
nobody bats 1,000. They were on a good streak. They're bound to break. Because they don't release a lot of shows. So
I'm on an 8-game win streak myself right now. So
there you go.
Dreading the. Here, where's the miss? Where's the miss?
It's inevitable.
It almost happened. It almost happened last game. Almost, but I recovered. Focused.
It happens, right? In poker, sports, whatever. You're bound to lose. It is what it is. So. Hey, not a big deal. I'm just not recommending. It tries to be kind of like a Black Mirror thing, but Black Mirror, not that every episode was great, but the execution of the ideas were there, made sense, and were relevant to the story. Here, it doesn't. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't come together.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Kind of a shame because Apple was on it, but whatever. You're right. Apple's still up and coming. It's great. A lot of great shows on there. Severance. I'll keep pushing that until the cows come home. Speaking of cows. We got the last show we're talking about here, Amazon Prime. That is Outer Range, this Western sci-fi kind of show, something new. 2 episodes dropped. I think it'll be every Friday, starring the great Josh Brolin, Thanos himself. Yeah, where I guess he's a ranch owner. He's got his family, a couple of sons, grandkid, whatever the case is. I believe one of the son's wives has been missing for a while. They're kind of dealing with that. Something like that. And I guess Brolin discovers this hole in the abyss in the middle of the field.
Literally,
yeah. And he can drop stuff in, and there's no. It's endless hole there. It's awkward. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. There's this girl who shows up out of nowhere who wants to stay in the ranch, temporarily while she's passing through, quote unquote. So it's interesting, and this one I found fascinating, to be honest with you. Something different and unique.
Slow.
It's slow. It's slow. Absolutely.
Yes.
But the premise, what they do with the abyss and what happens, particularly at the end of the first episode, you're like, oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, more the second end of the second episode.
And then the second episode, you're like, oh shit.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Now
you see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. It's like they're taking this kind of like this is all the stories going on in their lives involving the sons and someone they accidentally killed, but now you add this element to it, like how is this going to affect everything? So it's very fascinating. It's seems like a different universe kind of deal. I guess that's what it appears like. Or
we'll see. We'll see because there was. I'm trying to keep it non-spoiler, but there was a little bit of time jump or perceived time jump
or something.
In the second episode. So maybe we're not sure if we're dealing with a wormhole, alternate dimension, or multiverse type of situation. We don't know what's going on, right? So, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah. Again, this is a show that takes. This could have been just. A Yellowstone kind of show, right?
Yeah.
It's on Peacock. And they just about a ranch and things going on.
Peacock? No, Paramount. No, Peacock. I don't know.
I think it's Peacock. You better. Okay. But that being said, but it's not. This element that adds changes everything, right? It's like, this is what I'm talking about. Do something new. Listen, at the end of the day, this show may end up really falling his ass in the last few episodes. Very possible. but at least what they set up is fascinating. It's very interesting. Okay, now where we're going with this, because now this changes the whole complexity of the show and what we're actually watching and thinking about the characters. Okay, what is this? That's cool. That's the kind of stuff I want to see, as opposed to an anatomy of a scandal. Again, it's fine. 61st Street is good. Solid shows, absolutely. I just want some things that are unique and different. I think this offers it. If you're into that kind of thing, for me, it's a high recommend. For now.
Agreed.
For now. Like I said, I got a feeling this may fall on his face. It really could, right? They can take this idea and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is what we're doing? Really?
We'll see what happens.
All these high concepts don't pay off, which is why I really love Severance, because it really paid off, right? They made it work for an 8-episode arc, right? And, well, more because it's the second season. I'm not sure if this is a limited series, Chewy, or once. I don't know what.
They haven't said, so I don't know. I'm not sure.
Right. So, but for me, it's a high recommend for now. I'm absolutely recommending it. It's interesting. It's different. It's not a Western, so it's part. I guess it's not even a Western. Again, if you like Yellowstone meets X-Files would be the best way I can describe the show. So if that sounds remotely interesting to you, I would definitely check it out. The first couple episodes. I said, you're right. Then that second one, I was like, okay, now we're in business, right? You're like, shit, that's cool. That's interesting. So let's see how deep they go into that rabbit hole, no pun intended. So those are the shows for this week, Chewy. So I guess it's mixed. A weird week. What a weird week this was. But there's still a couple of things in there that was out of range. I thought was a high recommend. The other ones are fine. Just it is what it is. Next week's kind of a big week, man. This weekend, week, it's a
big week.
Seven things dropping. I don't see all the shows that we're going to talk about. I know Chewy probably watches more some of these than I do. But, dude, finally, to quote the great Rock,
tomorrow night,
Saw has come back to AMC.
Saw good, man.
Saw good, man. That's right. Better Call Saul. Final season 6, which I didn't realize was going to be 2 parts. It's God, I hate that, but whatever.
Hey, dude, AMC just has that habit of just doing that shit.
You gotta milk it. You gotta eat AMC, so I get it. Fine, I'm not gonna complain about it. I don't know if it's gonna be 6 to 8 episodes. I'm not sure what the breakdown is, like 6 this year, 6 next year, or I don't know, whenever the next season comes out. But it's definitely part 1 of 2, and it's confirmed that Walter White and Jesse Pinkman will appear in this season. I don't know about this first part or second part. I'm assuming maybe the tease in the end of the first part and then showing the second part. That's what I'm guessing. But they are confirmed. So Breaking Bad fans, great. And this is a show. This is a great show. It's a show a lot of people don't watch. So good. It's just so good. So I'm excited about this one. That starts tomorrow, the 18th.
Tomorrow night, 2 episode premiere.
2 episode premiere, even better. I thought it was just 1, so I'm now even more excited. On the 18th, this actually got moved up on the schedule. I think it's supposed to be the 20th, the 19th, I forget. But either way, HBO Max, we have the Batman, theatrical release, which is a great movie. I know Chewy probably hasn't seen it because you have to pay for it, and God forbid he plops down $10. Cheap bastard.
$10 a pop adds up.
I get it. Really good film. So maybe I'll get Chewy's thoughts on it next week. My girlfriend has seen it, so I'll watch it again. But yeah, it's really good. I got an HBO Max. We got the FX Hulu. The 19th. The next day is the Mayans. The Mayans, right? Show.
2 episode premiere again as well.
Oh, 2 episodes. Yeah, of course. The show. It's kind of spun off. Sons of Anarchy.
Spin-off of Sons of Anarchy, yes, correct.
Great. I don't see mine, so I can't tell anything about it. I know, Chew, you watch it, so I'll let you discuss that next week.
Not supporting our Latin brethren.
You're right. Shame. That's a fair point. Guilty as I Oscar Isaac the show. I won't hide it. I did. It is what it is. I take full responsibility for that.
Look, man, if you're a fan of Sans Arca, there's no reason why you're not a fan of Mayans. It's a different club.
When Mayans came out, I really wasn't watching. Wasn't watching network television, and ANC Plus is still kind of fairly new. So I'll watch in something like that. I don't even have cable, to be honest with you. Everything I watch is through streaming or whatever, or computer.
Well, you can catch this on Hulu. So
I mean, you can go back and revisit it to go back, whole season. But that being said, I hear good things about it, so why not? On the 20th, we got a few things on the 20th. On Netflix, Palpito. I'm not sure what the English translation would be for this.
Well, they translated to The Marked Heart.
The Marked Heart. Okay, not a direct translation, obviously, but this is interesting. It's a Spanish show. Interesting premise where I guess a woman is murdered, so they can take her heart. So
so her heart is harvested. Obviously, it's a little unsure if she was murdered or if she was about to die, and
well, I'm not sure, right?
But but her heart goes into another patient, into another needy patient,
Who's
And
a
the
husband?
husband,
Husband's a millionaire, so he's got money. So
yes,
yeah.
and so the husband is mission is to track down the company, the people that did this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it might be a little bit murder mystery, maybe a
Right, little
little
kind of
telenovela.
little
I'm not sure what
thriller
to
kind of, yeah,
expect.
exactly.
Yeah.
But so the premise is cool. I say again, a
Mm-hmm.
different kind of premise. You don't hear a story about a woman whose heart was transported or
Mm-hmm.
transplanted to somebody else in the
Harvested, I guess is the
harvested,
right
I guess,
word. I guess. Yeah.
in the black market. Right,
Yes.
essentially. So interesting concept. I'm curious about this one. Also on the 20th, this is one I'm been looking forward to for a while. It's been delayed and COVID, and I don't know what's going on, but it's been almost 3 years, or probably 3 years. Netflix, of course, that is Russian Doll.
I know.
A surprise show when I got dropped 3 or 4 years ago. I think it was 2019, but 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
About a woman. It's kind of like a Groundhog Day esque
This is
premise.
Groundhog Day on acid,
Oh,
dude.
right, and that's a woman. Yeah, a woman who just obviously is waking up when she dies. Wakes up. Well, goes back to the like the certain particular moment, right? She keeps going back to it, and unlike Groundhog Day, it's not like at midnight or the day ends, he starts over. It's when she
No,
dies.
no,
So
it's
it
the
could be
second
five
she
minutes,
dies.
right? It could be a couple of days. It could be a week. It just depends. So she's trying to figure out the mystery and keep herself alive to figure out what the hell's going on, why that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
why it's happening to her. Fascinating show, really good. It was funny, well done, really well written, man. I'm excited to see what this show has to bring, and that's like another 20. If you haven't seen the first season, it's 25-minute episodes, right? I think it's like 30.
No, watch it because it's worth a watch to catch. I mean, it's been so long. I would go back and
Well,
to
I
catch
went
up
back
because
because yeah, I showed my girlfriend. I
yeah,
said, hey, let's watch the show with me. I want to rewatch it because this part two's coming out. Maybe you like, and she ended up liking it a lot. So okay, we'll watch season two. But yeah, it's really, if you got a chance, yeah, absolutely. This is a high recommend back when we talked about this years ago. Yeah, 20 it's like 25-minute episodes. It's really short 8 episodes. You can watch this in a few hours. It's really good. It's different, unique again, taking a premise and doing something more with the premise and just regurgitating Groundhog Day. That's not what the show is, right?
Dun, 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 dun. It's a good day for poker.
Phil. Punxsutawney Phil. I love that fucking wing. Also on the 20th, Netflix. I believe it's an international show. Correct me if I'm wrong, too. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yakamos
Yes, yes,
S245, right?
correct. Yes, a little sci-fi international show that kind of caught my eye, and
Yeah, I've
so
seen
I
this
will
too.
check it out. End of the world scenario, I believe.
Yes, it's like a
So
Earth-ending event occurs or something like that,
yes,
and I guess
yes.
there's people in a submarine, and a biologist
Hmm.
who's in there, and I guess they're trying to survive or whatever, something along those lines. It looks interesting. Like, all right,
Yeah.
I'll roll it down this one absolutely. And then the 21st, I wasn't a fan of the first season. I know you were, so I probably won't get into it. But that's the flight attendant
Oh
on
man,
HBO
yeah,
Max. Again, that's on Thursday.
yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, that's the
HBO
show.
Max season two. I like season one. Season one was a great murder mystery.
A
And so
lot of people do
obviously
enjoy
this
the
is
show. Yeah, a lot of people do
yeah,
enjoy it.
yeah.
Yeah, it just
It's very popular.
yeah, it just wasn't for it. Just it wasn't bad. I just couldn't get into it, so whatever.
Hmm.
But I hear good things about it, and you've enjoyed it.
Hmm.
So we'll probably I'll let you talk a little about that show.
Sure.
What's good about this week is fine. What I've been saying the last few weeks, right? Fucking packed Fridays,
Spread it out.
spread out the
Spread it out.
love, right? And the 5:10s on Thursday, which I'll be watching anyway. But the 20th, it's packed, but at least that's a Wednesday, right? So it gives us time to digest the shows and through the weekend and catch a couple on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So yeah, so I'm happy about that because it's a big load of shows this week. And this week, so a lot of stuff for you guys to watch and check out. Come back on Sunday, we'll talk about the majority of these. Even the Mayans, we have to talk about Mayans because Chewy's right. I gotta support. Chewy talk about. I'm here in support of the brethren out there. Get shows about us.
No, not only that, but there's also an alumni on that show, dude. Daniel Pino
Daniel Pino,
of
right?
Law and Order fame. Yeah,
He went
so
through a high
he's
school,
a
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Who was
class of '92 at Miami Core
yeah,
Park.
who's in
Yeah.
Stranger Effects shows. He was on the Shield way back in the day.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
like
one of
going
the
to
episodes.
villains
Yeah.
and exactly. He's been around Cold Case, a lot of shows. But yeah, you're right. So I'll give the time to be discussed. I'll support in that fashion. I can't go back and watch the first season. It's just too much going on for me to go back and watch the first
Yeah.
season. But yeah, so that being said, big week. And that's all for today, guys. Chewy, always a pleasure. Guys, check us out again every Sunday. If you like these recommendations, let us know. We'll talk about next week's huge load next week. I said load. As always, subscribe, like, share, etc. See you guys next Sunday.
Peace.